Life with me, Demi Samande. Today's another sit-down video. As I explained last week, we are actually in a new location and we are working and getting things done, organizing spaces, really just cleaning up and just making sure that we are organized for the next few months of factory business. So today I'm just gonna share a few ideas with you. I had a meeting last week where I was asked, what does it take to succeed in business in Nigeria as somebody who's an outsider who is thinking about coming in? Now, I have obviously talked about this before, but in that meeting, I just kept thinking to myself, wait, these are some really good points. I should probably put this together in one video because I'm not sure if I've actually mentioned these 4 points together in one sit down before, but I'm about to do that for you guys. So for me, when I've ever sort of sat down and asked myself how this journey pretty much is going, I kind of just check in and I just kind of take stock of where I am and how things have been progressing for me. These 4 things really are the things that really stick to mind in terms of how I've managed to grow up to this point in the 3.5 to 4 years that I've been here. So hopefully by sharing these with you, you guys will take a lot of insight and you guys will basically be able to see the benefits of these things as well if you are in fact going to embark on this journey yourself. So number 1 pointer for me, the actual number 1, the most important thing for me in business success in Nigeria as an outsider coming in is attitude. You have to have a very humble attitude. You need to basically understand that you are coming into a new environment and your attitude is critical in doing so. And I'd probably say particularly in an environment like Nigeria, it's actually even more important because it's such a very different environment. The culture is very, very, it has a lot of nuances that you need to take stock of. So I just say, come in and be humble. Understand that just because you speak foreign doesn't make you better. You need to bring yourself to the level where you can meet your people where they are. Be kind. This is not Beverly Hills. It's certainly not Knightsbridge. Do you understand? You have to be willing to bring yourself to the level of the people which are here. You know, there's always, I think I find for me, there's always a little language breakdown, which I have worked incredibly hard to bridge that gap. But I think the attitude and the willingness to even want to try a lot of the time is actually enough. People actually see you trying and making an effort. And that just completely changes the way in which they interact with you, the way in which they receive you. So attitude is key. You need to come in with the right attitude. You know, roll up those sleeves, get stuck in and try your best to meet people where they are. I'll say the number 2 point will be sticking power. You need to have that resolve. And I've said this so many times before and I really can't stress it. You need to have that resolve that as you're coming in, you're planning on sticking at it. Come what may, you're going to stick at this thing. Now, obviously with the exemptions of situations where your life is actually in physical danger, of course, that's what I'm saying. But you have to come with this attitude of, you know what, whatever I find along this journey, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. I'm going to ride it all and I'm going to stick at this. I'm not going to be looking for quick results. And I think that's really what it is. A lot of the time, I think we're looking for quick results. And the moment we don't get it, we're very quick to throw in the towel and leave and to just give up. You need to come into this realizing that you're here to serve. If you come in with an attitude to serve, it will make quitting a little bit more difficult, I would say. You know what they always say, you know, it's not about what your country can do for you, it's about what you can do for your country, right? It's very true. And an environment like Nigeria needs that more than anywhere else, I'll probably say. So the resolve that you need to be armed yourself, you need to have armed yourself with this sticking power will really carry you through because it prepares you mentally for those ups and downs that, you know, that swing that, you know, some days are awful, some days are good. It just keeps you going, keeps you sticking at it. Attitude of gratitude, I'll say, is number 3. And this is something I actually struggle with, and I have to be very aware when it's happening so that I can make extra effort to get it under control. This attitude of gratitude every day. Like I said earlier, there are moments where things go dreadfully wrong and it just becomes like such a weight on your shoulders where you have to muster that strength to keep going in difficult moments. And in those moments, what I basically do is I just reach for my attitude of gratitude. I remind myself that it is what I'm grateful for that I will continue to get in abundance, and not to take anything for granted. Every day I have to thank the universe for what I have. I have to say thank you. I have to say please to the universe for everything I want and in everything I get, irrespective of whether or not I think those things are enough. Because a lot of the time it's not enough, because if it was enough, I wouldn't be striving for more. But just remembering to always be thankful, attitude of gratitude will carry you through moments where you just don't physically have the rationale in your mind for continuing this journey, irrespective of how many things are just not working. But if you remember your attitude of gratitude, and sometimes you have to reach really deep within. There's moments where I go right to the rock bottom before I remember, and then I'm able to then grasp those little things, no matter how little they are, those little things to remind myself, I'm actually grateful for that. I'm grateful for this, because you're not entitled to anything. The universe doesn't owe you anything. Nobody owes you anything. You are not entitled to anything that you have. So having that attitude of gratitude for everything you get, I can't tell you how powerful that is. I've had moments where I've been so low, and I'm sure I've shared some of these moments, and I have to just remember. I keep asking myself, how did I get here? How did I get here? Who has helped me? I've gotten help from here. I've gotten help from there. This person. So even the smallest things like opening the door for me, the smallest things like just saying a little prayer, the smallest things like, someone watches a video and they leave a comment and they say, well done, Demi, you're doing really well. You're inspiring. It's very easy in this environment and in this journey to forget those little things. So sometimes just finding the strength to reach as deep as you can in order to find that attitude of gratitude, it will keep you going in ways that you cannot even imagine. And I think there's a reason why I've put that as number 3, because it is incredibly, incredibly powerful. And let's just say you need it. Let's just say you need an attitude of gratitude to survive in Africa, to survive in Nigeria doing business, because there's so many reasons for you to forget. There's so many reasons for you to feel as though it's not worth it. But if you remember, you will see all the reasons why you have to do this journey, and all the reasons why you decided to do this journey, and even more importantly, all the reasons why you need to stick at it and to keep going. Don't be scared to start again. Your degree is not enough a lot of the time. It's really about not necessarily what you have, but what you're able to do with what you have. Let me just tell you a little story. So a few days ago, my mother sent me a video on WhatsApp. She often sends me these things. And this particular one, I took the moment and I watched it. And it was a young man going for an interview with another gentleman who is familiar with the interviewee's brother. So basically the interviewee's older brother sent him to go meet a friend, the interviewer, for a job role. So having gotten to the office, the interviewer said, what are your qualifications? What do you have? And the interviewee said, I have a 2-1 degree in biochemistry or something like that. And the interviewer was like, oh, wow, I did biochemistry too. Fantastic. You're looking for a job? The interviewer said, yes. Okay. And the interviewer was like, fantastic. I'm sure we have a position for you. But before we go into all of that, I have a couple of questions for you. I hope you would indulge me. And the interviewer was like, he asked him a couple of biochemistry questions. And the interviewee responded by saying, sir, I don't think you understand. I graduated 7 years ago. I don't know the answers to this. You know how the brain works now. We forget these things. The interviewer laughed and said, I understand. Let me give you a simpler question. The interviewer now posed yet another biochemistry question to him. And the interviewee once again responded by saying, "Sir, I don't think you understand this thing at all. Oh. Now 7 years ago that I got my degree. You know, the brain, I can't remember these things." And the interviewer said, okay, in that case, I guess we cannot offer you the role that requires your biochemistry degree. But I am willing to offer you the role of stock manager. The interviewee now got annoyed, stood up, and began doing all these sort of traditional incantations of, I don't know, jazz or black magic, started basically speaking onto the interviewee and saying, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how they do it. You know, I don't know what he was basically saying, but he was basically reciting some sort of like voodoo words and basically instructing the interviewee or the interviewer to basically give him the job by force. And he's basically said, at the sound of my voice, you are going to offer me this job that I want right now, whether you like it or not. And the whole time he's sort of reciting this thing, the interviewer was sitting there looking up at him and nodding his head like this. So it looked as though the thing was working. The interviewee now sat back down and said, okay, now that is clear. What about this job officer? Which position are you giving me and how much is the role? And the interviewer then responded by saying his own traditional voodoo incantation or whatever it is that they call it, started sort of reciting this thing. Before he could even finish, the interviewee picked up his CV, got off the seat and dashed out of the door, clearly scared that he had met his match. All that basically to say to you guys that it's not about the degree you have. It's not about the qualification you have. It's about what you do with it in real time. So you can have all the degrees in the world, you can have all the masters in the world, but when you come into an environment like this, it's about what you're actually bringing to the table. Nigeria needs real skills. Nigeria doesn't need any more degrees. Nigeria doesn't need any more master degrees. Nigeria does not need any more MBAs. What we basically need are people who are skilled and know how to apply that skill in real time today to build this country up. So if you're in a position where you have qualifications and you're thinking about coming to Nigeria or perhaps even Africa to start a business, ask yourself, what am I bringing to the table? What skills am I actually bringing to this environment? In the qualifications I do have, how am I actually able to offer value in those qualifications to help this environment? And if you don't necessarily know the answer to that question, I don't think that's enough to deter you. But I do want you to challenge yourself a little bit more and say, okay, if I don't necessarily know the answers, am I willing to start from scratch? So there's nothing wrong with you not necessarily knowing, you know, you have an idea, I want to move to Africa, I don't know what I want to do, because I often get a lot of these questions. And I always say to people, if you don't know what to do, that's fine. But are you willing to start from scratch? Are you willing to come? Are you willing to just do your feasibility studies? Are you willing to see the gaps in the market? Are you willing to look for opportunities wherever you can find them and then start bridging the gap between those opportunities that you see and the skill sets that you have? And if you don't have those skill sets already in place, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to start from scratch? And if the answer to that is indeed yes, then I think that you will, with all those 4 points, a great attitude, sticking power, attitude for gratitude, and a willingness to start from scratch. If you have 4 of those things, I think you will be extremely successful in this environment. And I do nothing but wish you the very, very best. And I look forward to you actually coming. So there you go, guys. I hope those 4 tips have been helpful. Please, by all means, if you have any other tips that you think should be included, add it to the bottom of this video. Let's all share as per usual. Thank you so much for watching this video. And as usual, don't forget to be extraordinary in the way that only you can be. Take care, guys. Bye.